Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the third season of the NASCAR Class C Maconi Fixed Series. This evening, we're excited to bring you action running it back wide outway for top split action for the weekly strength of field race with virtual Martinsville Speedway here in Ridgeway, Virginia. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing in the top split of the Maconi C Fixed Series, the Road to Pro Series, and for Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside me for tonight's race is Robert Hill Jr. David Croy's working the controls, our producer, using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Robert, not sure how much you've seen of Wednesday, but the tempers, well, they overflowed a lot for the finish. And with this track being caution-filled throughout the week, especially with the trucks, what sort of chaos will happen here tonight after what we've seen Wednesday, as already we have people spinning in qualifying?
Yeah, good evening, Justin. Good evening, everybody. It's going to be a wild night here at Martinsville. You're going to see a lot of beating and banging. You're going to see the bumpers used as we saw Wednesday night, which of course led to some extracurricular chaos towards the end of that event. And I wouldn't really be surprised to see it again here tonight. Obviously, a lot of cautions have been had throughout these races so far this week. Seems to be averaging about 9 yellow flag periods per race. So hopefully we can have a little bit less than that, get some good green flag racing in tonight. But definitely expect these drivers to bring chaos every single lap, every single corner here at Martinsville. And one thing we're going to have to watch is the exit, especially of turn number 2. If you get on that gas pedal a little bit too hard, the rear end of that truck's going to kick out. You're going to go around, and that's when chaos can ensue, as we just saw right there coming off of turn number 2. Absolutely could have been big if there was other cars behind him.
That was Gavin Gleitzman keeping an eye on for qualifying. Your top time in the session, you see top of the board, that's Corbin McKelly. Most drivers already done the qualifying session. The S.O.F for this race is a 36:27. And for a lot of these drivers, several of the names we see here in this lineup here tonight, well, they had a rough time, a couple of them at least, on Wednesday night around this time slot. Drivers now making their way to the racetrack for the grid. Let's take a look at how they'll start tonight and see which drivers can pick up some valuable points for their championship runs. Kurt McKelly again on the pole. Josh Plaster in second. Eli Carter, a lot better than how he did on Wednesday in qualifying third. Evan Kreutz rounds out the top 4. Then Daniel C. alongside Greg Freeman amongst your top 6 starting positions. Back in the 7th position for this race today is Hamilton Ruiz. Jeff Maconi, he comes out to play here tonight in 8th. Then it's Dean Helt and Nicholas Compton, your top 10.
Starting 11 tonight, driving the 9 truck, Eugene Tuminello alongside Connor Truman there in row number 6. Row 7 tonight is where we're going to find Vincent Guecci alongside Gavin Gleitzman, one of the regulars in our Fast Friday series, which will return next week. Lewis Ettinger alongside Tristan Bruce starting 15th and 16th tonight, with Ryan Pyland and Austin Tremblay 17th and 18th tonight. Tyler Ashley going to round out the 19 truck field here at Martinsville.
That's what top to bottom at the running order here tonight. Your S.O.F, as mentioned, 36:27. Most of the drivers have now made their way to the starting grid for tonight. As you just mentioned, Fast Fridays is to return next week. But for those who didn't see the racing on Wednesday, here's the details. But this being backed by popular demand after a lot of boxing gloves were out. You know, you had a hockey brawl essentially in the final lap and the cool-down lap. 60 laps again on the docket. That's about 32 miles tonight. As expected, no fast repairs. These drivers expected a lot to happen yet again. We already seen the fireworks and what some of the extremes can be on Wednesday. What are your keys to win tonight with a bit of a smaller grid compared to Wednesday?
Very simple. Keep your truck clean. Keep your nose clean all night long, and you're going to have yourself in a good position when it comes to the end of it. Be smart. Think ahead. You're gonna know when something is about to go awry on the racetrack ahead of you. Just put yourself in a position to avoid it, and you're going to have yourself a very solid day today.
Now, for a lot of these drivers, it's a chance to stand out in a higher-up S.O.F. at least, because especially if you're in those double-digit numbers, great chance to build up some iRating to be able to keep things up for a lot of the races in the future. who are you keeping an eye on the most, especially since a couple of these drivers already raced Wednesday. You have at least Tristan Bruce, the Division 2 champion for the wintertime, and a couple others. Who are you keeping on?
One driver that I am going to keep an eye on, someone that's a regular in our Fast Friday series, always seems to rise to the top when it comes to these big races. Gavin Gleitzman towards the rear of the field, starting 14th in this one. Obviously, he does have the top iRating, so not really a big stretch for him to be strong here, but definitely expect to see Gavin Gleitzman up towards the front by the end of this.
He had a very, very rough time on Wednesday with the traffic. We'll see if he's able to survive the traffic tonight. Cool racetrack conditions, a little hotter in fact than Wednesday, but still 76 degrees, 74 your air temp. Field drops off, we're ready to go racing. It's time to race under the lights again from the paperclip. Macali in control, green flag is out, we're underway for Martinsville.
Yeah, great jump there by the front row. Corbin McCauley on the inside. That's Josh Plaster up top. Now he's side by side already here with Eli Carter. Tyler Ashley just leaving pit. We're already around, and it's Gavin Gleitzman. Oh, the commentators curse right away.
He brings Connor Truman with them. Caution flag is out. And just like that, it's time to go pacing. Let's take a look at the replay. What did you just say about turn 2?
Yeah, turn 2, if you get on that gas pedal a little bit too quick, you can definitely go around, and that's pretty much what we just saw right there. You take a look at it right now. Might have been a little bit of help, actually, towards the back. Yeah, both of those guys going around. Just easy stack-ups here. There's not a lot of space. You can really close up on the guy ahead of you, and if you don't check up in time and the guy behind you doesn't check up, it can definitely lead to big chaos.
Big chaos and already some big damage for a couple drivers, as one of them, I believe, nearly hit the inside curbing there. But as they still pace themselves to get ready here for a quick restart, that's kind of the expectation. Get good track position, you set yourself up for later. But most of the time, they'll stay up towards the front, able to defend. We didn't see that easily, though, on Wednesday. A lot of drivers not afraid to give the bump run and a little bit of the shove and run.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You're going to see the bump and run come into play quite a lot tonight. And just of note there, the truck right behind the pace car, that is Connor Truman, currently one lap down, just due to where the pace car came out onto the field. So he'll go around just before they do get set to go green. Corbin McCauley, Eli Carter will be the front row here, but bump and run definitely going to come into play all night long, Justin. And these guys, obviously, you want them to be patient out there. You want to have great green flag racing, but that's a tall order for some of these guys in official racing for sure.
So as they get grouped up for the restart in the next few moments or so here, talk about a bit Fast Fridays that's scheduled to be fully sorted out pretty soon, believe. But that should be an exciting time. Once again, we've seen a lot of exciting racing during the Fast Fridays throughout the entire winter to springtime period. Your thoughts on that as pit stops are ready for the drivers involved in the incident?
Yeah, Fast Fridays is a really fun series that we've been running for a little bit now here on Maconi Entertainment. Running different car and track combinations, sometimes really unique that you don't usually get to see, and excited to see what we have in store for this upcoming season. I know Jeff's excited about the schedule he's putting together, and like you said, that should be out soon. And of course, always with those Fast Friday races, we have a couple big money races throughout the season, a couple of cool trophies to hand out. We got to see a couple of those last season, and hopefully we can hand out a couple more in the upcoming weeks. But the lights are off on the pace car, Justin. We're going to get set to go green and hopefully get a green flag run in here.
One more note before we get underway. We mentioned Gavin Gleitzman amongst those who just spun out of turn 2. Just said an apology. Here's the thing about the apology. He sent it to the broadcast crew. He posted it in the Maconi Entertainment Discord on top of apologizing to the field, so at least he is self-aware of the broadcast. Speaking of race trucks, let's try this again. Kelly in control, Carter alongside, back underway. Already single file up front, a lot of tire spin up back.
Definitely a lot of tire spin towards the rear of the field. We're taking a look there at Jeff Maconi as we have another wreck here. It's Ryan Peeland and, oh no, Gavin Gleitzman again up there at the top of turn number 2. Caution out for a second time here tonight on lap number 7.
This is why you do not like to start at the back at a short track.
You're absolutely right on that. Track position is incredibly important, and that's something that we're quickly learning here. You see Gleitzman go through the middle there. He just gets caught up, nowhere to go there as Peeland goes around up at the top of turn number 2. Both of those trucks should be able to continue on without too much issue, and I don't believe they lost a lap either. So lucky for them, they are going to be able to continue on.
Downside for Gleitzman, 99% certainty he's already sitting at 8 incident points. Remember, if you get to a certain threshold, you're done. A couple drivers actually got disqualified due to incident points on Wednesday. So, hopefully this is not the trend. An error driver to take the wave around as to be expected for the incident. That was the error driver involved in that spin. What kind of goes to the mind when you have stop-start? Stop-start that essentially sets up the grids as Gleitzman now has to take a wave.
It definitely varies throughout the field. When you're at the front and you get continuous cautions from the rear of the field, you're definitely getting frustrated. If you're Corbin McCauley, you don't mind this whatsoever. You're just racking up the laps led and really having a limited amount of time that you need to battle, but everyone else that's up there close enough feels like they have a good truck. You're getting frustrated because you cannot get there, don't have the opportunity to really hit the loud pedal and get going, but just frustration all around. Hopefully these guys are able to get a green flag run in here, see what some of these guys in the midfield can do. I know Jeff Maconi has a solid truck. Dean Helt was pretty quick in practice. No real opportunity for those guys who are currently 8th and 9th respectively to get on that loud pedal and see what they can do out here.
Still expecting the one to go next time by. The driver's taking the wave rounds, as mentioned. Gleitzman, Ettinger is the other driver set to take that wave. So as we get prepared here for the restart, quickly talking about how things have gone in the season so far. Entering this week, Justin Patello, he entered that Wednesday race needing good points. He got bump and ran from the lead and then got turned around twice after losing the lead. David Snook, he reset on the final lap because he thought the checker flag already flew because everyone was wrecking each other in the final lap. Jacob Snyder was not there on Wednesday. He's 3rd in the points, or at least without the factor of the paperclip. Joe Armstrong was alongside for the race lead until chaos reigned for the final caution flag of the race. Nathan Lyons got turned around from the race lead for that one. The points are going to take a big hit for next week.
Yeah, that's definitely an understatement. A lot of guys are either going to have a really great week here or a really miserable one with all the caution that we have here. But pace car's off. Let's get set to go back underway.
Let's see if we get a run past turn 2. Fingers crossed. Green flag is out. Back underway. McCauley able to clear again. They're already looking 3 wide hard of the field. Oh my goodness, here we go again.
And we have one around at the back of the field. It's Austin Tremblay, caution out once again. He got sideways there, Justin, but was able to gather it up. Unfortunately for him, the Ryan Peeland machine was coming around. No opportunity to get it back underway before that caution hit. So caution number 3 here already. And again, we have not made it out of turn number 2.
3 wide's not the greatest here. We'll just say that. There was definitely a door check.
Yeah, definitely a door check does come into play there. And like you said, 3 wide, kind of a sketchy move, especially when it is so tight. You can do it through the corners, absolutely. But when it comes to the exit, it really tightens up and you just don't have the area to get all 3 trucks off the corner cleanly.
So yet again, under caution, we've ran...
Quarter of the way through.
I mean, that's a bright side. The amount of green flag laps is maybe enough distance combined for turn 3.
Maybe that's a big maybe at this point. I don't know that we've made it to turn 3.
So, obviously, the chatter at this point is going to be very, very electric on the radio. So, what goes through the mind when you have this? We mentioned about the spots and the positioning and how that plays out. But about the mindset, what's that like during the caution laps where, a lot of drivers get to know each other here?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in these official races and you have all these caution periods, the conversations go really anywhere. They're probably talking about the eclipse that's coming on Monday at this point, getting all excited about that, see what the sun's gonna do, and it's just trying to fill time at this point, much like with a broadcast when you hit a lot of cautions and you're trying to fill it, turns into podcast mode a little bit. That's what these races turn into as well. And you're going to talk about the truck a little bit, but you can't really talk about how it feels because you don't know.
Here's a look once again at Fred.
Hey, Fred.
I think they updated his face too because he's now named Fred.
I believe they did as well, because I remember a week or so ago taking this same shot, and he was just sitting there with his mouth wide open, just astonished at what he was seeing in his mirror. But he's headed back to pit road. Fred's going back to Bedrock, and he's going to hand it over to his friend Barney here to get us back underway.
Now I get the naming conventions.
There we go.
Very much. Green flag back underway. Already the door slammed shut for the lead. 2 by 2. How long do they go this time? What couple drivers nearly going around, but we have broken our longest one of the race. 2 corners.
Well, let's see if we make one lap here. We're side by side for position number 4. We were now side by side for 5th. It's Kelsey Freeman. We're underway. It's Nicholas Compton.
We made it 3 quarters to maybe a lap.
Just about. It's progress, Justin. Progress there.
So far, we've ran a combined 1 2/3 of a green flag lap. Here's what happened to Compton. That was at the back of the field yet again. Remember, the drivers behind him already involved in cautions.
Yeah, looks like the truck behind him there was trying to force 3 wide, just about gets into the left rear quarter panel of the Nicholas Compton machine, sends him around, and that will, of course, bring out the caution once again. I believe that was Lewis Ettinger. No, that was actually the Tyler Ashley machine that got into the left rear there of Nicholas Compton, bringing out another caution here at Martinsville.
Cautions breed cautions breed cautions. That's all you can really say right now here. Remember, the next time we'll have S.O.F coverage will be on the iRacing social media platforms, as well as on Maconi Entertainment. Texas Motor Speedway, April the 10th. That is not Martinsville, but it is a very tricky 1.5 miles where, again, track position's important, but also being able to keep the tires underneath you while near full throttle is also important.
You're definitely right on that one. A very high-speed oval, but one that definitely does take a very foul effect on your tires. Keeping them under you is definitely going to be important all race long. Pace yourself. Set yourself up for a long run there. Texas will definitely bring those long-run opportunities, but it's either going to bite you if you do tear up those tires or give you a big reward if you are able to save them up.
Here's a look at the track information as talked about in the past on broadcast. This racetrack, it's been around since 1949. It's the oldest track in NASCAR these days. Just 12 degrees of bacon in the corners, 5.526 miles. But trucks didn't come here until really the series started, remember, in 1995 when it was the NASCAR Craftsman Super Truck Series.
Yeah, definitely a long history here at Martinsville, coming up on 29 years of racing at the circuit tonight. Actually, they're getting set to get underway, and we're going to get set to go back underway here. Some Martinsville hot dogs and hopefully some green flag racing here as we are back underway.
The 1/2 mile of mayhem yet again to racing. Yet again, McCauley with a good launch. Still side by side for second. Plaster is still going back and forth with Carter there. There's Jeff Maconi hot on the field. And it looks like we've had our cleanest restart yet. Give it a moment. As some drivers look to the bumper, we have made it a full lap.
One full lap in the books here. The top three able to separate themselves now as Everett Katz and Daniel C going side by side for position number 4. Coming on the scene just behind them there is Greg Freeman in the Napa truck. Some contact there towards the middle of the field around Jeff Maconi and company as these guys able to gather it up, continue on. It's very tight racing once again for position number 4. Katz and Gomez nearly making contact.
A lot of contact nearly with Maconi. Now to the inside of the battle on screen. He tries to wrap the inside. Lots more slide in the back, and it's now in front, in fact. Caution. That's the 17 around. That was in the top 5.
Yeah, that was Daniel C. He was in the middle of a 3-truck train. You're going to see that momentarily. He was right on the bumper of the truck ahead of him. He had the guy just behind him all up the rear end of that machine, and that did not turn out well for him as it does start showing here on the Maconi Entertainment replay machine. Chaos after this one. There we go. Yeah, that definitely did not end well for Mr. Daniel Gomez.
C is the middle initial that he put at the end of the name. That's why it's that on the pylon. Apologies there, but already having to let a lot of drivers by. It looks like at the very least he's going to lose a lap because of the time of the spin. So far, just one driver out of the race, and just Truman. The fun thing I've noticed about this week is, even with all the crashes, even with the incident points factored in, as long as you don't break the suspension, you can keep on racing.
That's one nice thing about Martinsville. If you're not taking a large impact to the wall or you're not going over that incident cap, you can definitely continue racing with your truck damaged to a certain extent. Of course, obviously, if the steering's all out of whack, it might not be too easy to wheel your way around this racetrack. But adversity, not adversity, but carnage, not necessarily something that's going to come into play too badly for these guys. You should be able to continue on with a little bit of aerodynamic damage.
And so as they continue to pace along here, just about at the halfway point of this one, what's it going to take to be able to get something together, you think?
It's going to come down to these guys realizing we're already halfway. We're running out of laps really quickly. Let's calm it down a little bit, be more strategic about our moves, not necessarily force the nose in there and see what we can do. Lights are off on the pace car this time, but if we don't get those green flag run of some extent here, Justin, the bumper going to come into play a lot more than it already has, which you definitely don't want to see, but these guys are going to start forcing their way into those positions up towards the front.
Let's try this again. So far, so attrition filled. Of note, Gleitzman's recovered to 9th place in the 1 truck. We'll see how long this run gets to now. McCauley in control, coming up to halfway next time by. Back underway, inside line again with a good launch. Yet again, McCauley able to clear on by everybody by turn 1, 2 by 2. The Hornet's Nest, well, it's been stinging everybody, including themselves.
You're absolutely right on that. As you see, there we go once again. Austin Tremblay around. Caution again.
Oh, man. So, yet again, drivers involved in the majority of your caution flags are in the back here for this caution flag.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a trend that we're seeing here. I see the Lewis Ettinger truck go down to the inside of Austin Tremblay. Wasn't going to make that corner pretty much no matter what happened. Sends the 18 truck around. He's not going to be too pleased. That is the second time he's been spun here so far, and I believe the Ettinger truck was involved in that earlier incident as well. I might be wrong on that, but just unfortunate. And like you said, it just seems to continuously be at the rear of the field, which if you're up front, you're starting to get even more frustrated already if you're not at your peak.
Past the halfway point in this one. Again, happy to have you with us for tonight's coverage. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment. The home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more. The iRacing service. Subscriptions are available as low as $8 a month. Again, Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR, series sponsor of NASCAR C Fixed Series action this season, and more. Once again, to learn more about Fast Fridays, go to MaconiSetupShop.com/Fast Fridays to learn more about the normal time slotted race for these events. Once again, the entry fee each month, $15 for those interested.
Definitely not a bad entry fee considering the racing that you're going to get. You're going to get some great, unique combinations. Like I said, you're going to see short track stuff, large tracks, road courses, dirt tracks. Just about everything is going to be on the schedule with Fast Fridays. Jeff likes to throw some curveballs in there, so be ready to run some crazy combinations. But it's all going to be really good racing. You're going to have guys like Gavin Gleitzman that are very strong. Jeff Maconi going to be out there going door to door with you, and a lot of other great drivers. So definitely join us, and looking forward to bringing you all the action on the upcoming Fridays. These guys are trying to go 3 wide on the front row.
Oh, this is getting a little bit interesting. At least these drivers pretty much making it clear. This is getting a little bit to where I'm tired of battling for second. Let's see if there's anybody that can sustain a run. 26 to go at the stripe back underway. Yet again, here we go.
Yeah, we're looking 3 wide, 4 wide at the back of the pack. Looks like Piling going to get knocked out of the way. We're able to continue on without any carnage, though, which is very surprising. We are going to be side by side for position number 3. Greg Freeman, Josh Plaster, as Tyler Ashley goes around. We have multiple trucks here on the front straightaway that have just gone around. We're under caution once again with 25 to go, and that was almost bigger than it should have been.
The crash was so hard it broke the pylon. Ryan Highland involved.
Yeah, this one, I don't even know what triggered this one on 3 wide right there. Is that Ettinger again? No, that was Ashley that went around. Okay, that again, just 3 wides that don't need to happen at the back of the pack that are leading to these continuous cautions. If these guys would just learn to set themselves up for runs on the straightaway, make that move, make it known that you're going to go to the inside. Don't just throw it in there, and the chances of making that pass are much higher than what we've seen so far.
It's getting the good old social media. So things to discuss a bit. Or discuss a bit is the better phrasing, as we continue to pace around here in this circumstance here. Just, you can see the boredom in some, but on the bright side, memories are made on the racetrack.
Making friendships out there.
It's about the friends you find along the way, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We do this to make friends, have a good time. And, well, they're at least making friends right now. I don't know about a good time, but we're having a good time up here bringing you all this action. 23 to go here at Martinsville. And I was just taking a look at the upcoming races on that C-Fix schedule, and there's definitely some good ones coming in the next few weeks. Like you said earlier, Texas next week. Then we're going to head to Talladega. That should be some phenomenal action. Dover, Kansas, Darlington, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, and Gateway to round out the 12-week schedule here. So lots of good action still to come, and it's all going to be right here on the Maconi Entertainment social channels. So definitely check it out, and let us know what races are you excited about in the next few weeks.
Gonna try this again. Up front, it's from Prince Edward Island, Corbin McCauley. So far, we have ran a combined, 3 laps under green?
Yeah, I'd say about 3.
At least the green truck is the one leading them to green still. At least he would say. Green flag is out, 21 laps to go. And yet again, 3 wide into turn 1, why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly. Josh Plaster got himself a really bad start. That hurts Hamilton Barrera Ruiz. He's going to fall all the way back to the 13th spot. Was up there in the top 5. He's gone to the rear, but we do have a battle for second here. It is Eli Carter going to the outside of Greg Freeman. Freeman on the inside. As we take a look a little bit further back, some great action there as well as these guys trying to make a couple laps in a row, as now Jeff Maconi and Gavin Gleitzman going side by side.
This is now our longest run. They're testing it though. Yet again, drivers not knowing what's going to happen now with 3 wide. We're on uncharted territory for this race. A lot of drivers saying, you know what, maybe I should give and take this now.
Give and take, definitely something that we'd like to see at this point. Moments ago there, you saw the Kellogg's truck of Josh Plaster get absolutely plastered into the outside wall. He's been able to continue on, but that battle for second continues up towards the front. Corbin McCauley, Eli Carter's Austin Tremblay around once again.
Caution flag is out, but we have a different leader for the restarts coming up. Here's a look at Austin Tremblay. This is his 3rd time being spun around or spinning himself. In this case, it's himself. Hits the curb, clears himself nearly, and here we go.
Yeah, that's Josh Plaster up on his outside there. Like you said, clips the curbing, just goes around. That's a very common mistake here at Martinsville. Just something you hope doesn't happen too often to you. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of trucks behind to get collected in this. And as we've seen so far, most of these incidents tonight have not collected numerous trucks. I think we have 1 or 2 multi-truck incidents, but otherwise it's been solo action back there. But Greg Freeman, like you said, taking over the lead. Eli Carter up there as well. Corbin McCauley falling back to 3rd, Everett Couts, and Eugene Tuminello, the top 5 now. So a couple drivers able to gain a few spots there. Tuminello, Maconi, Gleitzman up there a couple spots as well. And Gleitzman, as you know, did come from the rear of the field, was involved in an earlier incident, now finds himself up there in position number 7. So making better work of the traffic here tonight compared to Wednesday.
So coming up 15 laps to go. Greg Freeman now having a chance to be able to steal this one after the amount of caution flags. Him and Carter zipping on by here. There's a good chance we see a decent brawl because they've been going back and forth for that 2nd spot basically off the restarts. Chance for them to really become unleashed here. So now, knowing that time is very finite, what do you expect from Carter to try and get this away now that he'll be at the disadvantage to battle Freeman, with Freeman being the control truck?
You might see a couple deeper sends here by Eli Carter. If he can get side by side with Greg Freeman into one of the corners, you may see him pinch him down a little bit tighter than he has so far. They've had some great side by side battles so far, but it's gone without too much contact, and I definitely think that's something that may come into play should the opportunity arise to give a little bit of a bump to the side of that Freeman machine and make the pass. But we'll have to watch here. Lights are off on the pace truck. Eli Carter needs to have himself Greg Freeman needs to get away rather quickly and give himself a little bit of space behind to the Eli Carter truck.
Here we go. 13 laps to go. Of note, Jeff Maconi is very quietly back to the top 6. Gleitzman is in 7th. To the restart zone, green flag, a very early launch. Already clear for the lead. Just about clear for second. Here comes the dive again. Maconi wants second back. He gets it for now.
Oh, he's getting more than second as he does clear up to second. I was just looking further back. Eli Carter nearly went around. We have trucks sideways, saving it. Oh, we're going to stay green here. No, we're not. Caution. Never mind. That's caution.
Cautions.
Too good to be true, Justin.
Let's see what happened here. Dean Helt. Once those who is really slipping, sliding 3.
Yeah, there was a bunch of trucks that got absolutely sideways. You see some 3 wide towards the back. That doesn't even really come into play. Let's watch the Dean Helt machine here. Oh, he has a little bit of help from the inside. Might have helped himself, though. I think he came down a little bit more than expected. You saw a half spin behind. They were able to save that. That's the one I was taking a look at and thought we were going to be able to continue on, which nobody came to a stop. So it's just unfortunate that the angle of that truck came into play to bring out the caution and going to set us up for a restart with less than 10 laps to go coming up here very shortly.
And by the way, in all this, for those who haven't noticed, nobody has taken a set of tires. There are several sets available. We haven't had a run long enough for people to think rubber is going to be the difference, which is astounding.
You haven't really been able to even put heat in the tires yet. You've had a couple restarts, but for the most part, it's just been pacing out there. Probably not even a ton of rubber has been put into the racetrack on top of what we started with. Like, you do see the bottom line there where they have put the rubber down, but that's mostly just from pacing. We haven't had a ton of time to get out there and see what we can do. So hopefully we can run this one green to the end. I don't think we will, just because nobody's had the chance to make those moves yet, but we'll see what they can do. Biggest mover so far, like you said earlier, Gavin Gleitzman up 9 spots, currently scored there in position number 5. Watch what he can do on the inside lane. If he can get a good jump, maybe jump below the inside lane, heading for turn number 1, put his nose there before the corner, he could be up there battling for that win in this next 9 laps. As the lights are off on the pace car, Fred's going to make his way to pit road here shortly and let us have a couple laps of racing.
8 laps to go at the stripe. Gleitzman looking to try and see if he can sneak a top 3 with how he's been able to charge forward. Freeman looking to hold off Maconi now. Inside the top 3 for the first time is Temanella. As a top 10 starter. They're going to be trying to jump it into turn 4 for a moment. You cannot go 40 before that blue mark of the front stretch. Back it away. And 2 by 2 behind him. Freeman holds on single file for the lead.
Contact to the rear end of the Eugene Tuminello machine as Gavin Gleitzman takes a big shot into the back of that one. We have a few trucks around once again. It is Dean Helt backwards heading into turn number 3. We're under caution here once again as we're quickly approaching 5 laps to go.
Here, green-white checker territory. Here's a look. Dean Helt, second time around in the past 15 laps. Again, not a pretty sequence.
Definitely not a pretty sequence there as you see multiple trucks coming together. Once again, going to send Dean Helt backwards on the racetrack. That was the Hamilton Barrera Ruiz machine that was also involved in that incident. A little bit of contact with the outside wall and, of course, some contact with the right rear of the Dean Helt machine. We'll see what happens on this upcoming restart. I would definitely expect intensity and chaos to be even higher than it's been so far because we are coming down to one of the final restarts of the night. Greg Freeman, Eugene Tuminello, Corbin McCauley, Gavin Gleitzman, and Eli Carter, the top 5 here. Quickly now approaching 5 laps to go, and of course only one green-white checkered attempt available here tonight.
So we've seen drivers go to the massive extreme for the win on Wednesday. What extremes would you go to in this one, knowing there hasn't been a lot of time for someone to establish themselves as the front runner outside of maybe McCauley?
It's really hard to say because, like you said, nobody's been able to establish themselves as the favorite here. I think Eugene Tuminello's done a nice job working his way up through the field. There hasn't been a ton of chaos at the front, so he has been able to take those opportunities, make those moves, get himself up there to position number 2. So I'd be watching that truck, see what he can do on this restart. He's been timing them pretty well so far. We'll see if he can match up with Greg Freeman and maybe go toe-to-toe into turn number 1.
Lights are out again. So far, so very wild, we'll say. Has this been a race? How's this race been going?
It's been race.
It's been a race. It's been a race of all time. Some would argue to be one of the races to remember of race time for the week and the day and the hour and the time slot. Freeman in control. Thibodeau on the outside. McCauley in third. Green flag, green flag. Just 3 laps to go. Here comes the send from the outside this time. Giovanello tries to peel up high side. Not able to keep it there. Here comes Macoli. He looks for second spot.
Yeah, watching this battle here, Tuminello, Macoli side by side. We're going to come to 2 to go this time. Let's go 3 wide. Here comes Eli Carter back to 2 wide. Carter on the inside of Macoli. They're going to be side by side for position number 3. Macoli gets sideways off of Gleitzman. Let's go 3 wide once again.
If they get the white flag, it's simply to the checkered. Macoli still sliding. Macoli's in the wall. And it comes down to a 2-lap shootout. Green-white checkered territory. It's the Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series driver who goes around. Macoli on the spin.
Yeah, Macoli went around there. Gleitzman also went around in the same just ahead of the Macoli machine. Got clear of Corbin Macoli after he went around, then went around himself. So those guys going to fall all the way back now outside of the top 10. You see Corbin Macoli gets sideways there, backs it into the outside wall. And just a little bit ahead of this, Gavin Gleitzman, like I said, also had a slide of his own. You can see he's fallen all the way back to position number 13. Macoli to 18th. So they have taken themselves right out of this one. This will be the final restart of the evening, of course, with just one green-white checkered attempt available.
We've already seen, though, Carter not afraid to be aggressive here. So knowing that you have to be aggressive if you really want to get the win, what do you do if you're Freeman to defend what's very likely about to happen?
What we saw him attempt there on that last restart was slow the field up and then go. He's got to time it a little bit differently, make them think he's going to go early, then kind of slow just a little bit, jump in the middle of that restart zone, give himself a gap ahead of Eugene Tuminello, make it so himself and Carter have to go side by side for the second position, continue to gap, and just hope behind that something chaotic ensues, which chances are it is going to happen.
The tough thing about that strategy, though, is, remember, if you go above 40 in that restart zone, even as much as, say, 42, 43 to catch up on the outside line, let alone as the control truck, you get a black flag, and so does anybody on the front row who does jump that line, as in for speed. It's not as simple as that for that because of that penalty risk.
Yeah, there's definitely a penalty risk, and hopefully no penalties do happen here. We'll see. I think there's definitely going to be some sort of a restart game to an extent here by Greg Freeman, just with the strength that Tuminello had on that last restart. Didn't get a very quick start, but was able to dive it in, get side by side with Greg Freeman here. And Freeman's got to be careful from the rear end as well, because like you said, Eli Carter, not afraid to be aggressive, not afraid to throw the bumper as well, potentially move Freeman up into Tuminello. But let's see what they have in store for us here. Let's go green once again.
2 laps to the side of green-white checkered territory. If we take the white flag, it's on to the checkered. If we get a caution before that point, it's to finish under yellow. Freeman runs away through turn 1. Still side by side for second. Freeman's got a chance to pull away. They're
big wreck
on second, and that's the race likely. There they go. Everybody in the back joining into the fun, and this should be it.
Yeah, this will bring it to an end. Greg Freeman looks like he's on his way to picking up a victory here tonight ahead of Eugene Tuminello, Eli Carter, Everett Katz, and Jeff Maconi. That was a rather big one towards the back. There involved Macoli, Helt, Gleitzman, Tremblay, Plaster, and Hamilton Barrera Ruiz as well. So definitely not the way these guys wanted to end it, but Greg Freeman picking up a victory.
Greg Freeman for the All-Pro Sim Winter Challenge Series a couple months ago, able to get the win tonight. He picks up a win here on Maconi Entertainment in the C Fixed side of things. Brought to you by Maconi. Second spot, Giovanello. Carter to the top 3 at the stripe. And no tempers this time. Big difference.
Yeah, no tempers, and I think a big part of that is we didn't really have the opportunity to build up the rivalries and the animosity amongst the drivers here tonight. We only went a couple of laps green in a row at any point throughout the race, so you didn't have that chance to make somebody angry too much. And those guys at the back, well, they had enough of each other and took it out on each other quite a few times. So don't think that'll come into play too much here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the driver of the top 5 who's celebrating the end of this one, but for Greg Freeman, gotta be happy to get out with almost half the race led in the 14. We'll take a quick break. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of the Maconi C Fixed Series here today.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage, the Maconi C Fixed Series. Friday night racing ends under caution just like Wednesday. Let's take a look at your official race results as, once again, we are an official sim for tonight. As mentioned, it's Freeman who takes the victory. Greg Freeman specifically. He takes it over Eugene Giumanello and Eli Carter. Everett Krautz, Jeff Maconi, the top 5. Daniel Gomez with Nicholas Compton, Vincent Gucci, should say, and Lewis Enger recovering to 9th. Tyler Ashley in the 19, involved in a lot of trouble early, survives for 10th.
Coming home 11 tonight, Ryan Pylan, one of those drivers involved in numerous incidents just outside of the top 10. Corbin McCauley was one of the front runners early on, got caught up in some madness of his own, comes home 12th. Dean Helt saw him around a few times there in 13th. Gavin Gleitzman, again, another driver that had a really up and down night, unfortunately ended on the downside for him in 14th. Austin Tremblay, 15th. Hamilton Barrera Ruiz, 16th. Tristan Bruce, 17th. Josh Plaster, 18th. And Connor Truman rounding out the 19-car field, 48 laps down.
That's all talked about them at your official in-sim race results. We actually have several drivers standing on by. Let's take the time to talk with a couple of the drivers. Still waiting to see if we will get the race winner, but we do at the very least have second to start with. Eugene Giumanello coming away in the second spot. Eugene, how was the race?
I mean, the race was kind of slow, you know, with all them cautions that we kept on having in the back, but it was actually pretty fun when we got them, I'd say 2 to 3 lap green flag runs and making moves on the top and the bottom. So, I mean, it was a slower race, but it was still very well competitive and fun to drive through the field.
How tricky was it to battle up towards the front as well with the time of the caution flags? You went a lot of back and forth, it seemed, for third spot for second, and of course the side-by-side for second towards the end.
Yeah, it was actually really tough being there in second. I honestly wish I was in third. It's because you can't really jump the start on the top anymore in iRacing, so it's kind of harder to get that timing down. And me starting in the back and getting to the front so late, I didn't know anybody's timing on where they went. So it was kind of hard for me to guess it. So that was a big challenge. I mean, if I had a feeling if I could get to the outside of him, I could have maybe beaten him because he didn't really seem much faster than me. And I know when you pinch someone down on the top, it's easier to pass them.
So, with that being said here, kind of in terms of a nutshell, what is it like for how you would describe racing this truck for this racetrack from that perspective? As in, basically, as a whole, how would you describe the week at the Paperclip so far?
I mean, for me, I've had not really up and down week. I mean, I've had a good week. I've gotten a few wins so far and a few seconds, so it's been good for me. I really like these trucks here at the Paperclip. It's because, I mean, it's competitive. The only thing that sucks is that there is a lot of wrecks, so it is harder to get track position. And track position does mean a lot when you race these trucks here. It's because, like I said, that if you're the leader, it's pretty much like you got a golden ticket. It's easy to win. Not necessarily easy, but it's easier to win. And just the racing here with these trucks are good. You know, you can run the top, you can run the bottom. It is a little free off, but other than that, it's a blast.
The funny thing is, you said that in the pole sitter after you lost the lead, ended up spinning twice. Anyone you want to thank for the run today?
I guess I'll thank my mom, my dad. Shout out to the local business, the Berry Paint and Body, Fleet Liquidators, Protein Plumbing, and everybody else. You know, Dustcom Limited, Shiner Log Group. Those are all real life sponsors of mine. So I guess I got to give them a shout out anytime I can.
Once again, congratulations on the top 3 run tonight.
Thank you.
Eugene Timanoa will finishing inside the top 3 tonight. Second spot, in fact, Eli Carter finished in third. He was with Robert.
Yeah, Eli, congratulations on a solid run here tonight, coming home in that third position. But obviously, a lot of this race was spent under the caution flag tonight, 12 cautions to be exact. What's the feeling behind that steering wheel from the driver's perspective when you're in a race like this where you just can't get that rhythm?
It's a little bit frustrating. You know, you can't really, like you said, you can't get in a rhythm. You don't know what the car is always going to do with cold tires. So it's kind of fun to kind of chill every once in a while, but every 3 laps, every 1 lap is not fun. So it's really hard to know your braking marks, what the tires are going to do, who's going to do what, because, you know, lap going into turn 1, everyone's going to go in deep, but you don't know who's clean and you don't know who's dirty.
That's exactly it. And, you know, all throughout the race, especially towards the tail end of it, we saw some great battles with yourself and the race winner, Greg Freeman. Why don't you walk us through that? And what more did you need to get up there and maybe take that top spot of the podium rather than the third step?
Yeah, I kind of need to get in turn 1 a little bit deeper. I kept kind of babying it in there because I did not want to spin. I did it 1 lap, like you guys point out. I got a little bit loose going into 1. And I was able to save it enough, but I lost a couple positions. And on the voice chat, they're like, "Oh, they're wrecking." So I tried to throttle up going into 3 on that last lap to beat the 9. But I didn't do it fast enough, so I fell back to third. But it was still fun. It was just definitely hard to get around people and basically turn 1 and 2.
Definitely a solid points day for you, and coming home in that third position, a solid night all around, despite those cautions, of course. But looking ahead to Texas next week in the C Fixed Series, what's your outlook for that? Do you think maybe you can snag a couple wins there?
Definitely gonna try. I've owned it for like a year or 2, but I've never raced it, so this will probably be my first time. And I've had so much fun this week at Martinsville, so we'll try it next week. I hear it's kind of a draft fest, so if it's a lot of drafting, I'm usually pretty good at Daytona and Talladega, so I just have to probably manage my tires, I assume, and hopefully not as many cautions during those races.
That would definitely be a positive for sure, and it'll be a fun track for you. It's very enjoyable, but definitely got to manage those tires all night long. Eli, before we let you go here tonight, any sponsors you want to thank, shout outs you want to give for helping you get this third place finish tonight?
Oh, my old trusty Logitech wheel. It's served me well here. I can feel the heat from here, so it's been going good with her.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish tonight. Thankful for that Logitech wheel, and we'll see you down there in Texas.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Had fun, but yeah, have a good night.
That's your third place finisher, Eli Carter, after a solid run this evening.
Rounding up the interviews here tonight, also standing by is Jeff Maconi. So, Jeff, how was the Redux tonight here on Friday for C Fixed?
Well, it went a lot better for me. I finished, I think, 22nd of 23 on Wednesday night, and I finished 5th here and didn't wreck it. So I had a couple close calls. There were a couple laps where I sent it in about a mile deep and somehow made it stick. So I was very lucky. The track felt very grippy, so I could really push it when I needed to. And this was a really fun group of people to race with. We were having a great time under caution. It wasn't as stressful as like the super high S.O.Fs, because like Wednesday nights, those races are very, very stressful, for at least for me, where I'm driving in it, and usually like a midfield I rating, and so I want to go up and perform well. But on a race like this, I happen to be the 3 car. I was just having fun with it and finished 5th after some late race shenanigans and dodged some wrecks.
So, of course, tonight is technically a part of the off week for the next swing of things for Fast Fridays. Let's talk about Fast Fridays coming up, starting back again for understanding next week. Talk to us about Fast Fridays this year.
Well, we're doing another 3-month rotation of it. I'm very excited for it. Going to be a lot of fun. We learned a lot with the first one on what drivers did enjoy, what they didn't enjoy, what they're looking for out of different car track combos. So I'm working on the schedule still. I think we're going to be doing a little more NASCAR stuff, trucks, Xfinity, next gens. We'll be definitely be making a return. Maybe 1 or 2 short track races. I'd like to do a couple more road races, some dirt stuff. So still going to be mixing it up, but not as outlandish with some of the combinations. Combinations that are more fun rather than what if we, throwing spaghetti at the wall to try and make it stick, I guess.
So when will fans be able to find about that schedule and see about getting themselves into those said races?
I am shooting for the full release on Monday evening before the tracks change over. I'm going to try and have all of that together, looking good and published and pretty. We'll have to see how Purdue does this weekend, though. I'm a Boilermaker. I'm very excited that they are in the Final Four. I never got to see them advance that far while I was in college. I graduated in 2021. I was very nearly in Phoenix this weekend, but ultimately decided not to make the trip. So if Purdue wins, it'll probably come out on Tuesday. If Purdue wins on Monday, it's a national championship, and we win the national championship, it'll probably come out like Wednesday. So early next week, I'm shooting for Monday, and most likely we'll be out on Monday with the full schedule. But you can sign up at MaconiSetupShop.com/FastFridays. Always a very good time. You pay $15 to earn points. Every race you can race in for free, but if you want to earn points to lock yourself into the money race, which is a choice of $250 or a 40-inch trophy, it's like a 3.5-foot trophy, very cool, custom made for each winner. You pay $15 and you can lock yourself into, you can earn points to lock yourself into those races. And if we get more than 20 people or 25 people, then you have to be top 25 in points. But realistically speaking, if you sign up, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape just based on the people who show up. And if you can show up to every single week, you're probably going to have a pretty good chance of locking into the money race.
Once again, Jeff, thank you very much for the time. Congratulations. The top 5. We'll see how Texas goes next week.
Oh, it's going to go terrible. I have 0 luck at that track, and whenever I see Texas on the schedule, it gives me the same feeling as when my DoorDasher forgets my drink. So I am... Texas will be a race, that's for sure. But great broadcast, guys. Thank you, as always, and I will see you hopefully on Wednesday.
That's Jeff Maconi, looking to hope that Texas is not a race of all time. This was a race. So, Robert, your thoughts on tonight as Fast Fridays returns next week?
It was indeed a race, and if you were a driver in the field, you would feel like your DoorDasher forgot your drink, much like Jeff Maconi just said. So, unfortunate that we didn't get more green flag racing. I think we could have had some great battles. What we saw at the front was really solid, especially among Carter and Freeman when they were side-by-side, door-to-door for quite a while there. But we'll see how Texas goes, and obviously looking forward to Fast Fridays kicking off here very shortly as well. Going to be really fun to get back up here and call those races, and like you heard there, be sure to sign up, get involved. Let's get you on the big screen next week for Fast Fridays.
Once again, for the next time you can see C Fixed Racing, iRacing social media platforms, as well as Maconi Entertainment, the host as Texas looks to see if everyone is able to survive the Lone Star State April the 10th, 2024. Thank you once again to the race sponsor, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as our viewers for tuning in. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Robert Hill, with David Croyd's producing. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's racing action, and we hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks once again to the entire staff for bringing this racing once more to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.